What?
You ready to rip there, Tater Chip?
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah. Born ready.
Michelle? Chris?
Yep.
Hey, call the meeting order. It's Montcalm County Board of Commissioners regular meeting for December 11th. We'll begin with Pledge of Allegiance. Invite you to remain standing for the pledge. Blah, blah, blah. It's my first day.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah,
Feedback.
We got an echo.
We're in full chaos.
Enough.
Full chaos mode.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice Chairman Peterson.
We have Pastor Dennis Ross to lead us in prayer, please.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for Christmas and for the greatest gift of all, that's Jesus Christ. We thank you for all the gifts that you've given to us. We thank you for all that we've been given to as the people here of Montcalm County. We pray for our commissioners that you continue to give them your wisdom, help them even as they continue to apportion and to give out all that we have. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Baker,
Present.
Johnston,
Here.
Peterson,
Yes, ma'am.
Painter,
Here, ma'am.
Mahar,
Here.
Carr,
Yes,
and Cohen.
Present.
everyone's here. We have a quorum, obviously, on the agenda. I'd like to add one item under for your consideration. We'll make it 5A, and it's a potential contract to enter into a VC3. That's our IT company for an extra day of service. And after that, I don't have anything else to add or subtract. Does anyone else?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Johnston.
I'd move to approve our agenda as amended.
Support. Been moved and supported to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Everyone have a copy of the last set of meeting minutes, November 27th, 2023.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Johnston.
I would move to approve the minutes from our November 27th, 2023 meeting as presented.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the last commissioner meeting, November 27th, 2023 as presented. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comments. Right there, please.
My name is Dale DeMay. Please be aware that I have a severe hearing loss, so you might find me not responding or comprehending anything said from a distance. I've been reading accounts in the daily news and have observed videos on the internet of the Board of Commissioners. I've also been researching some issues which I will not have time to address avail to me. The Board of Commissioners passed bylaws, and one states that the meetings will be conducted under the Robert Rules of Order. And here's what I read in the book. Page 91, 92 of this book, Rules of Order, Article 1, Section 2, obtaining the floor. Before you can make a motion or address the assembly in any manner, you have to obtain the floor. This means you have to stand up in a formal setting and address the presiding officer, referred to as the chair in this book, by his or her title. For example, Madam President, Mr. Chairman. The chair will then recognize you by announcing your name, or if not known, by nodding to your direction. The chair recognizes Ms. Davis. Once the floor is assigned to someone, no one, neither you, the chair, nor any other member of the assembly should interrupt that person by calling for the question, voice or on a motion, by making a motion to adjourn, or by doing anything else. a chair then should try to protect the rights of the speaker who has the floor. Ms. Jackson, therefore, we need to consider other alternatives. Mr. Barnes, Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn the meeting. Chair, sir, you are out of order. Ms. Jackson has the floor. There are 5 exceptions to the rule about not interrupting a member who has given the floor. And I won't go into that. You can look it up. The chairman and the president, officers, your duties include to call the meeting to order at the appointed time, to preside over all of the meetings, to preserve order and decorum. When conducting a meeting, you should observe these rules as well. When somebody stands to speak and addresses you as a chair, Mr. or Madam Chairman, respond by stating the person's name is known or but not to acknowledge. That's a repeat. Don't interrupt the speaker as long as that person's in order, but rather listen to the speech, which is addressed to the chair and not the assembly. Be careful not to appear to take sides. This is the chairman's duty while conducting the meeting, but you may call another member to take the chair while you address the assembly or some question. But the chair of the assembly nevertheless controls the assembly in a fair and a just manner. This means as a chair, you should never interrupt members who are speaking simply because you know more about some matter that they do than they do. Moreover, you would never let yourself get excited or respond unfairly to even the most troublesome member, nor would you take advantage of someone's ignorance of parliamentary law even when you might temporarily accomplish something good by doing so. In a debate, then you go to Article 5, debate decorum. In a debate, you should confine yourself to the question before the assembly and avoid personalities. You shouldn't reflect on any of the assembly unless you intend to make a motion to rescind while debating or at the conclusion of your remarks. When you refer to another member, avoid using the person's name. I'm going to stop there a second. Sheriff Williams is an elected official. Never should be called by his first name. I was working to corrections. I would never call the warden by his first name, or the deputy warden, or a lieutenant, or a captain, or even an officer. Clerk Millard should never be addressed by her first name, nor the other elected officials. When you refer to another member, avoid using the person's name. Instead, refer to the member as the member who spoke last. So just like a commissioner here, say, hey, Mike, or hey, Bill, or say, and you're not talking to that person directly. You're talking to the chair. So whatever you want. I'm not parliamentarian. So when you refer to another member, okay, always refer to the officer of the assembly by their official title. Okay, now, I think that it would be advisable to the Board of Commissioners to obtain a parliamentarian to review previous board meetings and to be brought before this board to provide guidance as to properly conduct a meeting under the Robert Rules of Order. I've seen I get my information, like I say, the Daily News, and there's other boards I see where some of the same things happening. Now, I think first point is that no one that comes before this board, or any member of the board, should be addressed by the first name. The elected officials that come before this board should be addressed by their title. Second is that no one is to address anyone at the meeting except to the chairman or the president of the meeting. No one is to be walking around and speaking out. We need proper decorum and respect. Thirdly, the following seems as an example of something inappropriate. The commissioner was speaking to Williams, Sheriff Williams, and said, but it is not explicitly written in the millage, does not leave a lot of room to go right back where we've been. So here in 6 months, when you and I have this back and forth, we love to put in front of the paper, I can look back and say, this is what the millage said. Why is that inappropriate? One, you're addressing or bringing up any point or question of fact. The person has to obtain the floor, which I'm not sure that it was done when I watched the video. And
I understand.
you mentioned
Sir.
we love to put it in front of the paper. I see no indication that Sheriff Williams loved to put things in the paper and go back and forth. I can't hear you, so if you want me to cut me off, right, Okay.
Yeah, you're only allowed 3 minutes.
I appreciate
Thank
what,
you, Mr. Chairman.
thank you. Any other public comments? How long did we give them?
Probably 7.
If there's no other public comments, our 410 agenda item, the clerk, Krista Millard, is with us to discuss early voting and a budget for that.
So as you all know, proposal 22-2 passed in November of 22. Early voting will now take place in Montcalm County starting in February. We have decided countywide that we will have one early voting site, and it will be held here at the county. It was much more affordable for us to do it that way. So we will be hiring our own set of workers to work the early voting precinct, which will be held at the Emergency Preparedness Building in the center portion of the building. So I need the Board of Commissioners to set that rate of pay. We've done a study with all of our townships and cities to see what they are paying their election workers. And the average pay for a chairperson without a few townships reporting is $17 per hour. The average pay for a regular election worker is $14.62. I'm recommending that we pay our chair $21 per hour and our workers $18. I'll be hiring a total of 10 people to work it. There'll be 4 on site at a time. And the chairperson, and the reason I'm asking for more money for the chair is because they will be working 9 days straight through 2 weekends, and they'll be in charge of that voting precinct. When we look at the highest paid workers in the county, the highest paid is 23, and the lowest paid is 12 per hour. So at this point, I'm asking that the board set that rate of pay so we can get those positions posted. They will have to be hired in through the county payroll system. And for this election, the state will be reimbursing all of those wages, except for a very small portion. And that will be divided among the 23 local units. I've applied for a grant for all of our voting equipment, so we'll be using ballot on demand. We'll need a couple of new tabulators. The county has purchased tables and chairs that can be used for many different things, but we're also going to use those as voting stations. So there's a few supplies here and there that we're going to have to purchase. I've applied for a grant in the amount of $51,000. So most of those things will be covered. And if you remember, the presidential primary is fully reimbursed by the state of Michigan. So we're going to see some increased expenses this year because a lot of things changed due to that proposal. So like all of the security envelopes have to be thrown away and reprinted. So we're going to have additional expenses this time, but we don't know those exact numbers yet. So right now, we just want to get those workers hired so I can get them trained and we can get moving forward with our early voting site.
Okay, anyone have any questions for the clerk?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Cohn?
I'm just curious, this is going to be open for how long before the election?
9 days.
9 days.
Mhm,
So 2 weekends and a week.
correct.
It's open to the public from when to when?
We are required to be open 8 hours. We're going to run it 8:30 to 4:30, and we'll be open late one night during that week, probably on a Wednesday night until either 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
And how many people are there at any given time? Workers?
4 at all times. And then I will be supervising, and in the case that I'm called away, Stephanie will be the other supervisor.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Chairman Carr,
Sure, Commissioner Mahar.
thank you. I just want to make sure I understood this correctly. So it sounded like, Chris, with your survey for the chairperson,
Mhm.
the average was 17 an hour?
If you average them all out, yeah, the highest
Okay.
paid that we have was $23 an hour, and the lowest we had was $12.50.
Okay.
So when you average them all out, it came to an average of 17.
And then for an inspector, it was around 14. Is that right?
1462 was the average.
You
We're
wanna-
still missing 2 townships.
Okay. And I think you stated that you wanted, because there's gonna be some weekend work involved.
Mhm.
Is that, you feel
And-
they should,
For the chair in particular, I want the chair there for all 9 days. So that's a long stretch for them to have to work, and there's a lot of responsibility involved. For the regular election inspectors, again, it was training on different equipment. It's completely different than working in a regular precinct.
okay,
So I'm just asking for a little bit more.
thank you.
Anyone else? So the local townships will reimburse the county for expenses, or the state will pay for the whole thing?
The state is paying all expenses for the presidential primary. When we roll into August and November, then the local units will reimburse.
Is this action taking that into account, or is this just for the presidential primary?
Right now, this is the presidential primary, but I would hope that once we have this rate set, that this would be the rate that we're paying our workers for 2024, that we're not going up and down for different elections.
Have the locals all been billed for the election in 2022?
They have not.
So we're gonna start a new plan to reimburse the county for an election, and we haven't even billed for the last election in 2022. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So this action today is just for the presidential primary, that the state will pay the bills.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyone else? What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman Carr,
Vice Chairman Peterson.
I move to set the wage for early voting election workers at $21 per hour for the chairperson and $18 per hour for all other early voting election inspectors.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported to set the wage for the early voting election workers at $21 per hour for the chairperson and $18 per hour for all other early voting election inspectors. Discussion. Under discussion, this motion is just addressing the wage of those two. Does the county board have to take any action in order to have the county do the one-stop thing, or is that just in your?
So there was
realms?
nothing in the contract that indicated that, no.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
I guess my question would be paying them through payroll. Why do we have to pay them through payroll?
We had a presentation at our quarterly meeting, and we were informed that they had to be. If they don't have to be through payroll, I'm certainly not an HR expert, but it was because the amount of wages would be over the 2,000 threshold that Social Security had to be withheld.
Oh,
That's what we were informed of.
I don't know if that's true.
Do you think we can 1099 them?
I don't know why we couldn't. We do all our court-appointed attorneys and they make well over
If
2,000.
that's the way you want to handle it, we can do that.
Okay, that's what I would rather do it that
Okay.
way. But I can double check some, I'll ask some auditors or whatever.
Okay.
Do we need to amend the motion?
No, because you just approved wages, didn't
I
you?
just
Yeah.
set the rate. We
Yeah,
didn't
you just
say
approved the rate.
how. Any other discussion?
Just have one more question.
Sure.
Do we know at what rate the townships, the local municipalities will be reimbursing us when it's
We
not
know
there?
that the state is going to reimburse us at $15 per hour, so it works out to be in excess of like $1,200. I think it worked out to be,
Well, I think it's 4860. I think you had it in the motion or the,
it would be
Request.
1212 would be the overage because of the rate of pay is
right.
different.
Well, that'd be
Each
the same.
precinct or each jurisdiction would have to reimburse us $52.70.
Okay, so for the presidential primary,
Correct.
we'll have the same reimbursement
Mhm.
for other, okay.
So just to be clear, so this presidential primary isn't 100% covered by the state, then we'll still have to bill the locals.
We will have to bill them just for that overage and the rate of pay. $52.70.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carried. Up next is correspondence. Vice Chairman Peterson, please.
Okay, first up in for your consideration, the Community Advancement Committee bylaws request. It'll be found on page 8. It starts on page 8. The bylaws start on page 9. If you remember, the Montcalm County Planning Commission moved to dissolve itself, and then we solidified that a couple of meetings back. Brenda, Mike Falcon, Darren Dode, and Lonnie Smith have met. I believe Darren was the one that came up with the bylaws, and they've ironed out most of the finite points. And then Brenda is looking to submit names to the board on our January 3rd organizational meeting. Is there any more you'd like to say to that, Brenda?
No, you pretty much covered it all.
Did anybody have a chance to take a look through the bylaws? Is there anything you would like to see added? Anything you would like to see stricken? Anything from there?
We kind of just based them off the planning commission ones and then tweaked them accordingly. And then sent to legal and he tweaked some more, so. They've been reviewed a few times.
Nobody's got any comments? If not, I would move to approve the Community Advancement Committee bylaws as presented and allow the controller to submit names for the appointment to said committee at the Board of Commissioners, January 3rd, 2024 organizational meeting.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next up is the opioid settlement funds agreement. It's be found on page 23 of your packet. It is an agreement that the opioid task force committee has developed using a template that Mac provided. I think Brenda had some questions on this, or
Just basically just getting your blessing on that. You think that looks okay? If you wanted to see something different, or if we can, send them out for signatures and proceed, basically.
It looked good to me, and also you've blown that by legal counsel as well, so
Right.
I wouldn't
Yep.
know how to change it if it needed to be changed.
Yeah, and it was a template Mac gave us, so.
Looked good to me.
does anybody have anything to this? If not, I would move to approve the use of the opioid settlement funds agreement as presented and allow the controller to procure signed agreements from each of the 5 awardees.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve the use of the opioid settlement funds agreement as presented and allow the controller to procure signed agreements from each of the 5 awardees. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next up, the warrant reports are going to start on page 33. If no one has anything to that, I'll go through them right now. Warrant report number 11302023 in the amount of $176,248.02. warrant report 120720023 in the amount of $467,607.35. And warrant report number 1211203 in the amount of $248,451.62 for a grand total of $892,306.99. Does anybody have any questions about any of those warrant reports, amounts, or anything like that? If not, I would move to approve the warrants as presented with a total of $892,306.99.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve the 3 warrant reports as presented for a grand total of $892,306.99. Discussion. If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, number 5A is a handout that Brenda put onto your desk. I know that it's been expressed throughout the staff, not only in the controller's office, but countywide, that we're in need of a little bit more IT help in an ever-evolving IT world. I think this speaks a little bit more to that, but I'll let Brenda talk a little further into it.
So basically that annual contract of that 117 and change is what we pay to have someone here 2 days a week. If we want to have someone here more days a week for a full year, it would cost $10,650 per day. They would prorate that at this point, going forward for this calendar year. So if they could do it one person as of January 1, they could add another day as of January 1. In February, they would need another month to get staff to accomplish 2 more days. That's why there's the difference in the staggering of it. So if we wanted to go have someone here every day of the week, it would cost us another $22,000 and I think I have the exact number here somewhere, $22,187.50 for the remainder of this year. And then going forward, to have someone here every day, it would be $31,000. Just doing the math in my head. $950.
Is it something we really need for the next 30 or 20 days? Are you saying they're going to go until?
Yeah, we would just finish off this calendar year.
Right.
Status quo, since all the holidays are coming up, and so as of the January 1st, then they could accommodate us with 1 more day.
And that's what would cost the 22,000 you were saying?
No, that'd only be
$987.50 for the prorated.
Gotcha.
For the remainder of this year. And then if we wanted to add day 4 and or day 5, that would be $7,100 per day for the remainder of this year. And then going forward in preceding years, it would be $10,650 for those.
So how many days are you looking to add then, or is the staff looking for?
Well, I'm sure the staff would love them to be here 5 days a week. I mean, Eric and Chris can attest to that, and Michelle. We have the work for them to do.
But do we have the money
I
to
think
support
so.
that?
I think so.
Where would it come from?
General fund.
So to add a person to be here 5 days a week would be 30, what'd you say, 36,000 or 31,000?
$950, I think it would be for a full year.
So we'd be darn near $150,000.
Close. Yeah.
But haven't
Which
we?
is under what I did seek another company out, the one the health department went with, and they quoted us $200,000 and didn't want to send anyone here.
Right.
And when I asked him to bring it down about half that and see what they could do, I'd never heard from him.
Yeah.
So,
And what didn't we look into having just going into having our own employee as an IT person, and it would cost roughly the same or something close.
I asked about that today because I knew you'd ask me that question. So if we remove the 2 days that they come here, that would be all that would come off that contract price.
Mhm.
So that would be what, $22,300 would come off that 117. So you're still in the high 90s. Plus, if you're going to pay somebody a wage and benefits, you're going to be closer to $200,000 overall.
Well, I know just in monitoring emails that go to all recipients, I know that IT is usually the biggest bugaboo up here at the county, but that's just a third party looking in. I think, I guess I'll revert back to you. Do you think that you need another 3 days to have someone here all 5 days, or?
I think it would be great to have that, but I also think we would be happy to have any additional days. They showed me the tickets in the system today, and there's 55 outstanding tickets in the system, and he can't keep up just 2 days a week here. So,
Madam Clerk, Kristen Millard, would you agree with 5 days?
I absolutely do.
I mean, our technology needs to get greater and greater each year, and we're one of the biggest clients they have, and we're the only one that doesn't have on staff IT.
Eric, do you concur?
Director Smith.
I think he's not elected, so I can call him Eric.
I'll start by saying I prefer Eric because I'm simply a normal dude like all the rest of us doing
Right.
our jobs.
Isn't that
Eric is
something?
fine with me, please. I think we're a little bit unique and we have an incredible amount of IT needs due to all the various programs and all of our emission reporting and all of our truck hardware and software and all that. But I think we're also a little bit unique in that we have Barry that basically is our own IT department within our department.
Yeah, you guys are fortunate.
So it's kind of hard to say. So I guess based on what I know from hearing other people in the department head meeting discussions, yeah, I think having more would definitely be helpful countywide for sure.
Well, I guess I'm not opposed to adding to 5 days. I think it's necessary, especially like I said, to start this. You know, I'm the cheapest one out there, but I mean, it's just, there's so much technology involved now, and you know, if one thing goes down, it cripples us for a day, and I think we owe a little bit more than that to the constituents, but that's just my thoughts. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Mr. Vice Chairman Peterson.
Commissioner Phil Cone?
I always like to hear examples. So give me an example of something that wasn't fixed on time or wasn't addressed on time. That having somebody here, it would have been addressed on time.
Okay, so fortunately, I was in the court security meeting last Friday, and Judge Simon indicated that it took them 6 days to get a computer ready for a new hire. That's a long time to sit with no computer as a new hire. And it took them 8 days to transfer a computer from one office to the other office. That's just too long.
And if we had more on-site IT support, that wouldn't happen
Right.
or shouldn't.
It shouldn't, no. I know he is doing some cleanup work, because we do have a new guy that was brought on in the last couple of months. So he is kind of trying to pick up the pieces and do some cleanup work from the previous one, but there's just not enough of him to go around.
And when I think of it, we're talking about that's one person, right? One more day a week. It'd be in the contract that they would be here 52 more times.
Mhm. Yeah, so
not,
like
not
if there's.
50 or 48 or
Yeah,
46.
so like when they take a vacation, they would either send they'd send a replacement, a sub for that day. Or if there was no sub, then they would tack on a day. They'd list a day.
But we're not open 5 days a week, every week. Right.
No. So they adjust. So like if they were gonna come Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example, and we had a Monday holiday, then they'd probably come Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. So they do that.
But if we had 5 day a week support,
Mhm.
I'm assuming those off days would be addressed in the pricing of the contract.
That's a good question, Phil.
It would be holiday pay.
I was gonna say, how would you do it though? Because there'd be no other days, no other way to make it up, but.
Well, I would assume that they kind of build the holidays into it,
Yeah.
knowing that we're going to be closed those days. I don't know. I haven't seen the contract, but I mean, they're IT people. They're probably pretty intelligent. I would assume they built in the holiday rates or holiday
maybe an allowance for-
non-working days.
Well, I don't have the contract either. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, I haven't seen the all I have is a quote. So. Which I pretty much put everything in that memo that's in the quote.
Chairman Carr.
Yeah, Commissioner Maher.
Brenda, can I call you that?
You may.
So we're looking at about, if we go to 5 days, we're looking at about 32,000 on top of the contract, about 10,000 a person.
That would
If,
be
if,
for
if
a
we
full
didn't,
year.
if we didn't prorate it, but for a full year.
For a complete year, yep.
Okay. And you believe it's money well spent?
I believe it is.
Okay.
And you believe we can
I think
afford
it's a
it.
deal, yeah.
And when you
Okay.
said that it comes out of the general fund, any special revenue fund department would pay for it out of the cost allocation
Correct.
plan. So the whole thing
Correct.
isn't coming out of the general fund.
No, there's just a 2-year lapse. So the expenses recognized this year in the IT area in 2 years gets expensed off to all the non-general fund departments.
Does everybody have a pretty good grasp on that now?
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have any opposition to increasing it to a 5 day a week IT person?
No.
So that would be adding 3 days, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I would move to authorize the controller to sign a contract with VC3 to add 3 more days of on-site tech time per week for a total of 5 days a week. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, thank you for that. Next up is the consent agenda, items 6 through 11. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns on those? Hear none. I would move to place those items 6 through 11 on the consent agenda on file. Support.
It's been moved and supported to place items 6 through 11 of the consent agenda on file. Discussion. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And 12 through 14 are for your information, and there's no resolutions from other counties. If nobody has anything else, that will be your board correspondence, the last one of 2023.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Peterson. Next is committee reports. Chairman Baker, please.
Three of them. So, committee, the collective bargaining committee for November 29th met at 10 a.m. Members present, myself, Commissioner Carr, and Commissioner Peterson. Called the meeting to order at 10 a.m. Public comments were offered, none were given. We discussed the in closed session, the AFSCME union request, so forth. And we came out of closed session at 11:06. The meeting was adjourned at 11:07. I would move to place these minutes on file.
Support.
Been moved and supported to place collective bargaining minutes with AFSMI from November 29th on file. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The collective bargaining committee met again on Wednesday, December 6th. Myself and Chris Johnston and Adam Peterson were present. We called the meeting to order at 9 a.m. Public comments were offered, none were given. We went into executive session to discuss collective bargaining with the IAEP union. We came out of closed session at 12:09 p.m. Public comments were offered, none were given. Meeting was adjourned at 12:09. I would move to place these minutes on file.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to place the collective bargaining committee minutes from December 6th with the IAEP on file. Discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And very soon after that same afternoon on the 6th of December, the committee met again. Myself and Chris Johnson and Adam Peterson. And we called the meeting to order at 1 p.m. Public comments were offered, none were given. We went into closed session at 1 p.m. to discuss collective bargaining with the FOP union. We came out of closed session at 4:45 p.m. Public comments were offered, none were given. And we adjourned the meeting at 4:46 p.m. I move to place these collective bargaining minutes on file.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to place collective bargaining committee minutes Wednesday, December 6th of the bargaining with the FOP on file. Discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Chairman Baker.
You're welcome.
That ends committee reports. New business, item 1, clerk correspondence. Number 2, controller correspondence.
Couple items, bylaws and committee assignment for the organizational meeting. Did anybody have anything other than the 2 items I pointed out on what I emailed out to you? So the wage and the dates and then the flip-flopping of the, anything else?
Meeting times or anything? Anybody's good with all that?
We'll do that on the.
Yeah, I think we set those on the
organizational. I
3rd.
wanted to have as clean a copy as I could for the meeting on the 3rd. How about committee assignments? Is everybody okay with their committee assignments? I think Commissioner Baker's willing to give some up if anyone wants any.
He secretly likes driving down to Grand Rapids and then driving all the way back here for a meeting. It's a
must be-
productive day for him.
That must be a secret because I've never heard him. say
No.
that.
If I'm on the Board of Health, he's sticking where he's at.
It's so secret, he doesn't even know it himself.
And then the only other thing I had was just to draw your attention to that ARPA update. I hadn't done that since I think August or September, so I thought this being the last meeting of the year, I'd update you on that.
What is the highlight of that?
It's all gone.
That's just everything that was approved, the first sheet, and it shows you that, we've spent everything, or we've allocated or obligated everything.
Still have some reporting to do.
Oh, yeah, we have reporting to do through next year. Hopefully, we have everything paid for by the end of next year. That's what I've been prodding. We have, we're right down to the end, so you don't see too much expenditure. If you look at the second page of the blue, the expenditure tracking, we're kind of finishing up. And actually, that little orange bar that says project balance owed / in excess as of 9/30/23, that one for the admin windows just went through one of these tonight's warrant reports. So that one will come off and be paid in full. So yeah, We should be
Is
done
the
though.
prosecutor paperless project, is that the one that we thought there might be some?
Yeah, as of right now,
Wow.
there's 136.95. So,
We may still have some money to,
well, we were gonna apply that to the camera system.
so we've got to come in
So-
for it if there is.
Mhm.
any. Okay. Very
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Okay, number 3 is chair board correspondence. I guess under chair, I'm not sure what the gentleman's, and it was unfortunate or somewhat ironic, I guess, that it was heading towards potentially running our meetings better, and then we went way past the 3 minutes, so I felt like, in fairness to the board and what our bylaws are, that I needed to shut him off, but it was unfortunate that we didn't. I guess here the whole thing is what he was getting at something to do with the way I'm conducting the meeting? Is there a objection or something that needs to be tuned up on my end? I'm open to that. You don't have to say now if you don't want to. Certainly let me know at some point if there's something that I can do better. I'm open to suggestions, so. Is there anything the rest of the board has for correspondence?
Chairman, I think you do a great job. I don't think it had anything to do with you. I'm not really sure what that was about, quite frankly.
Oh, I bet I got a good idea.
Thank you.
Does anybody know who he was or?
I don't
What
know who he was.
Did you catch his
I
name?
didn't, and I tried looking him up on voter registration. Did he say he lived in Maple Valley Township?
I didn't catch
What
that.
didn't he say? What's that?
What was it?
Okay.
I wrote.
DIMET? I'm pretty, because I looked up voter registration,
Hmm.
and that's probably
It's a guilt.
from Evergreen Township.
Okay, no other commissioner had a correspondence then. That ends new business, old business. One item, number 1 is the McCarthy Parks Disc Golf Course name. We had delayed the naming of the course for a couple of months, and I believe at the last meeting, we decided that we'd come tonight with the final list of possible ideas and make a selection so the maintenance director can get the signage and the free frisbees lettered appropriately. So everyone have that list that the controller sent out. What's your thoughts or pleasure?
Looks like there's at least 5 votes for the MAC. Sorry, Chairman Carr, it looks like there's at least 5 votes for the MAC.
You didn't stand up.
Shoot. Chairman Carr, it looks like there's at least 5 votes for the MAC.
Yeah, I don't know if the standing, I think you're fine with just addressing the
All
chair. I
right.
don't know if you have to stand.
Well, just let me know if I do need to.
I saw that as well, the 5 for the MAC. It might be kind of a concerted effort on the part of the jail personnel, but even if it is, give them props for getting together and having a strong feeling on what it should be and getting around and submitting those names. So I felt, I don't know if Commissioner Vice Chairman Peterson was endorsing that, but I felt
Hey,
like that was kind of,
I think it's simple and it's easy.
Mr. Chairman,
yes, Commissioner Baker.
yeah, I had coffee with Mac a number of times. And when we sat around talking, people referred to him as Mac. So, and I'm sure maybe some of the deputies and so forth that might remember him spoke the same way. Some of them called him Bill, but some of them called him Mac. So I think Mac is great. I'd go along with those guys. I think that would be a great name for it. It's kind of the way they name things like that. So that's my vote.
Looking for a motion,
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman Peterson.
move to authorize the building and grounds director to procure signage and inform the vendor for the complimentary discs that the name of the new disc golf course in McCarthy Park will be the MAC.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Discussion. I agree. I think that's the right thing. I think the McCarthy Park disc golf probably is the most recognizable as far as knowing where it's at and what people are talking about. Most people in the county are familiar with where McCarthy Park is. I thought some of the other names were appropriate and were nice choices. Beyond the.
I'm trying to stay hip with the kids though.
That's it. And I think we still want to continue to honor the work and legacy of Detective McCarthy. So I think that's a good choice. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Baker?
Yeah, I don't think anybody will look at that name and want to go to the park to play and head for the bridge. So I think we're good.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That ends old business, public comments. Sure, come on up.
I think Mahar or Painter did one too.
I probably don't need a microphone. I talk pretty well.
Well, just for the recording,
I knew Bill McCarthy myself,
You only three
and
minutes.
I'll try out my
he
timer.
discussed a few things with me when I was young and helped out some of us young guys. I don't remember why he talked to me, but he was, instead of busting us young guys, he just kind of tried to steer us a little bit. Nice guy. The other thing I want to bring up is that I think you guys run a good meeting. I think you're a little bit informal, which in my opinion, is good. You guys seem to get the job done. You guys are doing a great job. Everybody doesn't want that job, and I think you guys are doing a great job. So I'm just saying thank you. I think the way you guys are running the business meeting, a little informal, doesn't seem to be anybody's feelings hurt. Thanks for the job you're doing.
Mine get hurt
Thank
pretty
you.
much every meeting.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep, you're welcome.
Anyone else? Public comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman Peterson.
final time of 2023, I move to adjourn.
It's been moved and supported to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. So I forgot.
Don't forget to eat the